First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. I wanted to pull that up. That is our Shriners camera taking a look at downtown Portland. And it's a little bit hazy out there. There is some smoke. There's some air advisory issues that are going on, so you can check out all those at kptv.com. But that is because it's going to be pretty hot today. So just be aware of that. Again, follow along at our website for any kind of info that we have on that. But again, this is Fox 12 Now. We are live here every weekday starting around 1 p.m. Pacific, going throughout the afternoon, covering a wide range of topics here. So thank you for finding us. You can check us out on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel, kptv.com, or the Fox 12 Now tab, or downloading those Fox 12 Oregon apps. All great ways. But today, for this segment, we are talking about tourism in Portland. And so a new study shows it's on the rise, and there's some pretty good data that backs that up. And to talk all about that data, joining us right now from Travel Portland, we have Marcus Hibdon, who is the VP of Communications and International Tourism at Travel Portland. Wanted to make sure I got your title right, so I had it written down there. And Marcus, thank you very much for joining us. You know, this is some pretty interesting findings here from this study, and I think, you know, to start off, can you tell us where this study came from, I guess, to give us a basis of understanding what we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, sure. This is data from the Smith Travel Report, also a couple other organizations, the Portland Metro Chamber, which tracks downtown foot traffic. And Smith Travel Report looks at lodging data in the city and is really an industry standard across all of tourism. But the results are really optimistic for us. We had a great summer season. We saw 10% growth in our occupancy in downtown hotels, the highest numbers that we've seen since the summer of 2020.
That's a pretty big increase then. So going from that to now, so seeing more people staying there at the hotels. I guess I want to talk about the foot traffic here in a minute as well, but sticking on the hotel side of things, you know, what do you think it is that was driving that's helped to increase those numbers by such a big amount?
Yeah, sure. I think first and foremost, the city's in the best shape it's been in for years. It looks good. It feels good, super clean, lots of new activities going on. And we saw a lot of events return to downtown Portland, concerts up at Providence Park, at Pioneer Courthouse Square, events in downtown Portland again, great summer weather, of course, which always helps. And summer's always the busiest time for tourism in the city.
I do know there's a lot, there were a lot of events on the waterfront as well. So as you mentioned, some big things happening down there. And that sounds like that also, was a big contributor there to driving some of that hotel occupancy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had some weekend nights throughout the summer. Saturday, August 24th, for example, when Rockstar Energy was in town, we had 92.9% occupancy in our downtown hotels. Those are numbers that we haven't seen since the summer of 2019. So it was very busy time, really driven by events, but also just lots of great stuff going on in the city.
I think one of the interesting findings from this too that you touched on earlier is it seems that foot traffic in downtown Portland has increased quite a bit as well. And I know that was, an issue in previous years, some of these recent years. What do you think it is that's changed to help increase that amount of people that are down there walking around in Portland?
Yeah, sure. Certainly more overnight visitors, coming from out of state, but also more metro area residents, people that live in the suburbs, coming back into the city, checking it out, having fun, going to restaurants, going to our hotels, museums, other attractions. For anybody who hasn't been to downtown Portland or Portland at all in the last couple of years, it's a great time to check it out. The city's really changed in a lot of positive ways, and it feels just like it did back in the good old days. It's a good time to come down.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of those efforts, and just to touch on that, because there are, I'm sure, a lot of people who are watching this who haven't been to downtown Portland in a while, in a couple of years, maybe longer than that. What are some of those biggest changes that have happened for them that they would notice compared to, say, something maybe 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the city's cleaner than it's been. The graffiti and some of the garbage, trash issues have really been mitigated. There's a lot of focus on getting services to houseless people, helping them find places to stay, get off the streets, a focus on camping downtown, just general livability issues, but also, our restaurant scene is more dynamic than it has been in years. Lots of new places opening up. We had a great result from the James Beard Award. I mean, the best restaurant in the country, according to that prestigious award, is here in Portland. Lots of great stuff going on. Hotels, offering great rates for people to come down and spend the night. And, the attractions are thriving as well. So all those things that makes Portland a great city are very prevalent, very strong, very easy to find in the city right now.
Another big part from this study, or at least from the release that you had out there, we talked about the new airport being open now, PDX with the update, the huge update that's going on, and you mentioned some of the some of the tourism that's coming in from out of state. How has that been? Do we have any numbers on that as far as people coming in from out of state or even out of country and visiting Portland here over this last several months?
Yeah, those numbers aren't as readily available, though we will have them. It's harder to track, who's an out-of-state traveler, who's an international traveler. We don't really have somebody sort of standing on the I-5 bridge clicking out-of-state travelers, but overnight travel in the city is up. We know the numbers at the airport are doing well. We're having a busy travel season out at PDX. Of course, the renovations are making it quick and easy for people to travel. And we're seeing significant growth in hotel demand in the city. So, we had a rough couple years coming out of the pandemic. We were slower to recover than other cities, and we still have a little ways to go. I mean, generally speaking, in the summertime, our occupancy would maybe be 10 to 15 points higher than it is right now. But it's still the strongest summer season we've had since the pandemic, and a good sign that tourism is recovering in Portland.
And looking at that and maybe looking just a little bit ahead, I mean, obviously we can't make any major predictions, but it does seem the trend is looking good. And generally speaking, how do you feel about the outlook for tourism in the Portland area going forward, into the fall, winter, even into next summer?
Yeah, fall and winter has always been a more challenging time. There's less leisure travel. Kids are back in school. The weather changes a little bit that might make some out-of-state travelers a little less hesitant to come. And we also know that our convention calendar, which is normally what's bringing a lot of visitors to town, will be lighter in the fall and winter this year. We're sort of entering into that convention period where we were selling conventions and the city was still recovering, still coming out of the pandemic, which made that sales process a little higher. So we're expecting a slight dip as we move into the fall and winter months, but that shouldn't be taken as a stalling of tourism's return. Leisure travel was very strong in the summer months. We expect that to continue. And I think, there's a lot of room for optimism based on what we saw in June, July, and August, for sure.
Just a quick question about the convention side of things, just because I'm curious. So are those usually something that are booked like a year or two out for those things?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Typically 2 to 3 years, sometimes even longer, if they're bigger conventions. So, the booking window for sort of this 24 and even into 25 would have been in the 21, 22 period of Portland. I can say, though, as Travel Portland closed its year, we had the second best year in the history of the organization for booking future convention hotel rooms, 317,000 rooms. Those will be played out over years to come. But that was the second best year that our organization has ever had. Our best year was in 2018. So a very good sign that even though we'll see a dip in convention in this fall and winter, the future for convention business in Oregon is also looking very, very good.
That's great. So people can kind of plan around that a little bit as far as expecting, as you mentioned, 310,000, some hotel rooms already booked up and for occupied. So that's great. Anything else that you think is important for people to know just about some of these numbers and statistics out there?
Yeah, I think it really is a great indicator of how good Portland is looking, how good it feels. And again, for anybody who's at home, who's been wondering about, should I come in or I haven't been in for a while, come and check it out. The city's doing great. You're going to have a great time.
Well, Marcus, thank you very much for joining us. And is there anywhere that you would recommend for people at home to go and take a look at maybe some of the numbers that you have, or not even necessarily numbers, but just what Travel Portland has to offer as far as explaining what it is that's available here in the city?
Yeah, sure. Go to travelportland.com. We have a brand new food cart finder that can help you find some of the great food carts in the city. We also have an app for your cell phone called Near Me Now. You can find that on our website as well. And when you're in the city, you bring the app up and it'll show you some of the best things the city has to offer, just footsteps away from wherever you're standing. So those are both great tools. And of course, we have our visitor center in downtown Portland. If you're looking for ideas or things to do, go ahead and pop in there. We've got a staff of professionals that can point you in the right direction and show you something you'll love.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us. I am definitely going to check out that food cart finder, so I'll be doing that later on. And thanks for joining us here on Fox 12 Now. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
And for everybody who is watching, again, we are live, so thanks for joining us. We are here throughout the afternoon, live streaming here with Fox 12 Now. And then, of course, you can see some of these segments as well on all of our other newscasts. And coming up at 1:30 p.m., we've got Eric G. from Around the House Northwest with some tips and tricks on how to save some money if you're remodeling your bathroom or your kitchen. So everybody likes to save money, and that is a good thing there. And we'll get a preview of Around the House Northwest. You can check out all of our segments at the aforementioned Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel, of course, the Fox 12 Oregon apps, and at kptv.com. And as I mentioned with the weather there, follow along. We've got a first alert weather warning, so we've got all kinds of stuff going on there for you to check out and just be aware of what's happening. But we'll sign off right now. We'll regroup. We'll talk to you in a few. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.